Hey, you know why this movie is called Gemini Man? It's because there's two of them. Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to review Gemini Man starring Will Smith, Benedict Wong, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. It's directed by Ang Lee, who has done Brokeback Mountain. And this movie is a throwback. I'm not going to say it's like the best movie, but I had a ball. I had a great time watching this. I can't tell if it was my love for Will Smith movies, because it's like a secret sauce for me. I grew up watching Will Smith, and even when he's in a bad movie, I enjoy watching it. I, Robot, I Am Legend, movies that start with I's apparently, starring Will Smith, I really love, even though they're super terrible. This is not super terrible actually, because of course it's Ang Lee, but the best part of the movie, I guess I should explain the plot. Will Smith, he's this super cool assassin who's decided he's gonna retire after he hits an insane sniper shot on a moving train from like 2 kilometers away. It's a movie, so obviously you can do that, but in real life, this shot is impossible. But he does it, and he wants to retire. Turns out the government wants to kill him. And so they send a younger version of himself who, plot twist, turns out to be a clone of him. And that's when things get great in this movie, because it's bonkers. I think what happened was Ang Lee decided after he made Hulk that he wanted to do another action movie, but he wanted to do it right. But he took his time. You know, he made Brokeback Mountain, he made Life of Pi, he made these very good, very thought-provoking movies, and now he's made Gemini Man, a very non-thought-provoking movie with a very routine plot. What makes this movie interesting, it feels like a mid to late 90s action movie. And you haven't seen that a lot recently. Like, if you think of the first Mission Impossible, it is completely different from Mission Impossible Fallout. There is no similarities other than Ethan Hunt is in the movies. Gemini Man feels like more like the original Mission Impossible that came out in like 96, 97. The chase scene in the middle of this movie, motorcycle chase scene, is baller. It is bonkers. Bonkers and ballers. It's great. It's goofy. And it's a good time. That was G's too.
Man, alliterations.
I'm good at using all of my alphabet. I gotta get Z and X in here somehow though. The clone of Will Smith's character, Henry, punches him with the motorcycle. And that's pretty great. But then he also uppercuts him with it. He also drop kicks him with it. He also basically just does all the wrestling moves, only with a motorcycle. And it's great. I can't recommend this movie enough. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. A lot of people sometimes be like, oh, this movie sucks because, you know, the plot's routine and the action's okay. But yeah, also the writing's bad in this movie, like really bad. But that's what I like about Will Smith's movies, is sometimes the writing's so bad that it's fun to watch Will Smith deliver those lines. I don't know about anybody else, but when I was watching Suicide Squad, I was laughing my tuchus off. And that's because Will Smith had some of the worst lines ever. And that is true in Gemini Man as well. But it's fun, the action's great, the fight scenes are cool, the chemistry between Benedict Wong, Will Smith, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is great. So a lot of times in these action movies, the dudes are always like saving the women or stuff. But recently with Mission Impossible and Gemini Man, the women can hold their own. And her character is actually pretty awesome in this movie. I want a sequel. Give me a sequel. I want Will Smith teaming up with Will Smith once again for Gemini Man 2, Gemini Man. I said it. Oh, I should mention before, this is a bit of a spoiler, so I'm going to put it at the end of the review, but at one point they're explaining the clone, and they say that the clone was created before the 1996 cloning of Dolly the sheep. So that means this clone was cloned in 1995, before anything about cloning was even talked about. It was just like whispered. Different scientists would whisper to each other and be like, we should clone a sheep. We should clone a sheep. And then some bad guy, Clive Owen, was like, we should clone a Will Smith. So if I had to rate it on how good the clone is at being Will Smith, I would give it a 7 out of 10. The technology of like the de-aging stuff is a little weird sometimes in the movie, so that kind of takes you out a bit. But to be fair, Ang Lee shot it in 120 frames per second to counteract that, and most movie theaters aren't showing that, and I didn't get to see that version, so I can't properly review that part. But 7 out of 10, Will Smith's great. He delivers some bad lines. Motorcycle punches. Finger guns. I'm waiting for Zach to stop the camera.
Oh, okay.
We should clone a sheep. We should clone a sheep.